Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this cool water effect when you hover over a button. There's actually a video out there that shows you how to do this already. That's actually where I learned how to do this trick. But the reason that I'm making this video is because in that video, they didn't include the image that you need to make this trick work. So I thought it would be a good idea to make this video to help all of those people that want to get that image to accomplish this hover effect. And I'm also going to explain how to make this trick work. That way you know exactly what you're doing. So sit back, enjoy, and let's get into it. All right, let's get started. We're going to create a container to store all of our buttons inside. So let's give it a class name of container. Let's create our first button. And this one is going to say download. You can type in anything you want in here. And I'm going to create 11 copies of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And of course, you don't need this many. I'm only creating this many for demonstration purposes so you can see the different colors that you can create. That's going to be it for the HTML file. All right, for the CSS, let's remove the padding and margin from the elements, and let's also add box sizing border box. So we're going to set padding to 0, margin to 0, and we're going to add box sizing border box. Let's turn the body into a flex box so our buttons could be nice and centered. So let's use display flex. Justify content center, align items center. Let's change the height to 100 VH, so that's going to be the size of the screen. And let's change the background color to hex code 262626. For the container that holds all of the buttons, we're also going to turn that into a flex box. First, let's change the width to 600 pixels. And the reason that we're turning it into a flex box is because we want the buttons to be nice and centered within the container. So let's use justify content, space evenly, flex wrap. That's going to make it responsive. Let's give it a gap of 30 pixels so the buttons aren't so close together. And let's also use align item center. Now I want to be clear, all of this code that we have just added here is not needed for the effect. This is just for demonstration purposes. All right, now we're actually going to create the effect. So for the button, we're going to start by giving it a width of 150 pixels. Go ahead and give it a width of whatever you want. And I'm also going to go with a padding of 12 pixels. Once again, you can change that to whatever you want. And border radius, 20 pixels. You can also change that to whatever you want. I'm going to change the color of the text to white. And I'm going to add a border, 3 pixels, solid. And I'm going to make it this color here, 284 CFF, and the reason I'm making it that color is because that's the color of the image that I'm going to show you where to get in a moment. All right, let's use cursor pointer. That's going to give it this little hand effect. Let's make the background color transparent. Now let's add the image. So we're going to use background image URL, and in here we're going to add the URL to the image. I'm just going to paste this. Don't worry about this URL. I'm going to leave a link in the description to it, so don't worry about having to write it down right now. Just go ahead and copy and paste it into your project. All right, so there's the image. Of course, we don't want to be able to see it only when we hover the button. So let's get rid of it. To do that, we're going to use two properties. The first one is background repeat X, and I'll show you what that does in a moment. We're going to use that together with background position. Here we're going to give it 0 and negative 100%. All right, let me show you what that does. So I'm going to comment this one out. With this alone, we can see the background takes up the entire button. All right, let's comment that one out. Now let's comment this one. And with only this one, it only covers up half of the button. But of course, we don't want that. So if we use these together, it achieves what we want, which is not to be able to see the image. All right, one last thing we're going to add here is transition 1.5 seconds ease. So the hover effect that we're about to add is going to take 1.5 seconds to take effect once we hover the button. All right, let's add the hover effect now. We're going to use background position center. All right, so now when we hover the button, we'll be able to see the image, and that's pretty much the effect. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is change the color of the buttons. So we're going to use button nth child, and this is going to let us access each of the buttons individually. So if we type in a 1, we're going to access this one. If we type in a 2, it's going to access that one, so on and so forth. All right, in here, we're going to use an option called filter with Hue Rotate. We're going to start this off at 0 degrees. And by the way, the reason that we can't just change the color is because it is an image. So to be able to change the color, we actually have to use this Hue Rotate feature here. All right, so for the first button, it's going to stay as is. Let's copy this 11 times because we have 12 buttons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's scroll back up here. Let's change the number here. So this is going to be button number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, let's scroll back up. So this one started at 0 degrees. Let's increment this by 20. So it's going to be 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. And for this one, I'm going to go with 200. You can play around with it, but you can go up to 270 degrees, and you can also use negative numbers. So for this one, I'm going to do 260, and that's pretty much how you create this effect. If you like this video and this works for you, don't forget to hit the like button. That's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.